I'd like to introduce a wonderful nonprofit organization here in the Bay Area, and this is USA Together, and I'm going to introduce Dave Mahler, who is the founder. Dave, can you tell me what inspired you to do this?
Sure, I'm a Silicon Valley high-tech person, been in high technology my entire career, have no military background, in fact, I'm not a veteran. But I've always been involved in community activities, and a number of years ago I was driving around in Silicon Valley and drove past the Palo Alto VA hospital, which I've driven past for 20 years or more. And it dawned on me that I know what goes on there. I never felt like I had any business there. But I was in between projects of doing community service, and I thought I couldn't imagine a more worthwhile segment of our society for me to spend a portion of my life trying to help than those that had stood up to serve our country and put on the uniform and been injured as a consequence of that. So I reached out to people at the Palo Alto VA, asked them about the challenges the folks there had, and came up with the idea of USA Together.
So USA Together is an organization that's kind of been described as a disabled Craigslist for disabled veterans.
For wounded warriors.
Yes,
That's sort of the nickname for it. Yes, it's what we have in Silicon Valley to offer to the country and to support our military and government in their actions is the ability to do high technology. That's what we do here. That's what's easy for us here. And so we listen to the folks at the Palo Alto VA talk about the challenges these families have in finding resources to meet the needs that they're just not getting met any other way. And so this is something that the internet is well suited to do, to connect those who have been injured as a result of serving in the military with Americans that want to help but just don't know who or how.
And you're not a veteran service organization, so we need to make that distinction because, I'm a member of AMVETS here
Correct.
in San Francisco, Chapter 34. But you saw a need and you're trying to find a way to fill it.
Exactly.
So can you tell us, what does a veteran have to do to come to your group and say, we need these services?
Sure. They simply go to our site, www.usatogether.org, and there's a button there that says, tell us what you need. If they click on that, it'll ask a few questions about their contact information and background and what they need, and they'll then be put in touch with one of the folks on our team that will understand their service, the nature of their injuries. We'll ask for confirming documentation on that to support that and make sure we have legitimate service personnel. All of that is privacy protected for us, and then when we understand their needs, we'll post them to our site. And that information is available to any member of the public, an individual, a church group, a community group, a business that comes to the site. But we also ask those folks to stick in their email address and join the family of USA Together so that they then get notified automatically when new needs are posted.
That's great.
And if they read the story and want to help, then they're able to offer help in a variety of ways depending on what the service member asks for.
Very good. I know you recently received a huge grant.
We received a grant in the San Francisco from Foundation in the San Francisco Bay Area here to do a project that we just briefly call it the Bay Area Project, which is an attempt to reach out deeply into the community in the Bay Area and connect them through our site to those men and women that have needs. And so what we're doing is we've identified various segments of society in the Bay Area, in the 9 counties in the Bay Area. And that includes businesses, that includes community groups, faith-based organizations, other veterans groups, the general public are all being reached out to through different means to encourage them to subscribe. We would love nothing more than to have the San Francisco Bay Area be a best practice for the rest of the nation on how a community can come together to serve the needs of their wounded and the families of the fallen.
I think it's remarkable that you have managed to step up to the plate considering you're not a veteran.
Most of the people on our team are not veterans,
and I think
Cheryl,
it's wonderful that you're inspired to do something for our veterans because there are so many veterans that need so much help and they really don't know what their resources are. Even though many veteran service organizations exist, some veterans are just anti-group. They don't want to be part of the system, however they perceive that, whether it's through the VA, whether it's through a veteran service organization. So another way to outreach to veterans and what you're doing is remarkable because now individuals can say, you know what, there's a story that moves me. There's something I can do. Even if it's $100 thing, sometimes that can make a huge impact in someone's life.
I think one of the things that we've learned over time is that it's sometimes not the gift, the little financial assistance or the transportation to a VA hospital for therapy. It's the fact that a member of the American society has stood up to help someone who stood up years before to serve our country. It brings that notion of service to the public full circle for the men and women that put on the uniform. And that's often more powerful than any medicine that can be given to those veterans.
Because someone cares. They're looking for someone that gives a damn that they stood up and took a sacrifice for our country.
I think it's also true that many people nowadays don't want to give to large organizations where they don't know where their money or donation is going to go. They want to see some transparency through, and one of the things we offer is the individual profiles, stories, all privacy protected, no last names or phone numbers or contact information is put on the site. But the stories of why these folks joined the military, what happened to them there, what circumstance they're in right now, and why they need some type of assistance. And the things they need are essentials. These are very basics. These are goods. We're having a baby, we need a crib, I need tires for my truck. They are services. I need a bathroom remodeled for wheelchair access, or I need some legal assistance, or driven to a VA hospital a couple times a week for therapy sessions, or maybe some modest financial assistance because they're going to start a job next month, but they can't quite make the water bill or the utility bill this month, and they need some modest assistance. And one of the interesting things that we like to talk about is the fact that when people donate money through USA Together, 100% of it goes to those service members. We don't take a penny out of it. All of it goes through. That's our commitment to show integrity in what we're trying to do in serving these veterans.
So really what part of what you're trying to do is to persuade the public that if you want to make a difference in the lives of a veteran, this is a perfect opportunity to do that, to do something very simple, very small. You may perceive it that way, but it can have a huge impact on a veteran's life.
One of the things that drew me to this particular project is there are so many problems in our society that we just can't solve as individuals. If you look at the numbers of the injured and the families of the fallen, the needs that they have, this is a solvable problem. Less than 1% of our society serves. A small portion of those folks get injured. The needs that they have are really very reasonable and modest for essential things. If the people that come to the site reach out and help one family with one need, then there should be no need for any injured service member to have unmet needs.
So for anyone out there who wants to make a difference in a veteran's life, we encourage you to get on to usatogether.org.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so much for being our guest on the show.
You bet.